Hey, how's it going? This is Luke Stokes. I'm recording from my new home in Puerto Rico. Moved here with my whole family and I'm pretty excited about it. We're just finally getting settled. There's still a lot of echo in this office room that I got set up. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to soundproof the walls a little bit, but I got my green screen set up, I got my lights set up, I got a new desk, a new chair, got my computer, and so I'm pretty excited. We're as a family just still settling. We just today got our license actually, which was a long process. But anyway, I wanted to do a quick video to talk about the this first lost key change ruling going on with EOS and ECAF right now. So if you look here, we've got on EOS Authority, we've got this order from ECAF to change the key for this account. Now, this is a pretty straightforward ruling as far as I can tell. If you look through the PDF that ECAF provided, and if you're not familiar, ECAF is the EOS Community Arbitration Forum. And, it's pretty straightforward that this person, lost keys to their account as part of the Ethereum to switch over to EOS process. And so it seems pretty safe. It's like, okay, clearly this guy provided cryptographic proof that they own and control this account. What's the big deal? Why don't we just go change the key? And, well, while that on the surface seems fine, to me, there's a little bit of concern about the precedent that this might set for how ECAF can be used and will be used in the future. So if you're not familiar with all of this, EOS has a constitution. EOS is a governed blockchain. It's something that is brand new to the space. It's really kind of confusing, and we're all still trying to figure it out as we go, because in a lot of situations, blockchains have not served humans very well. When people lose their keys or there's fraud or there's stuff going on, we can't really stop the bad guys from doing bad things. And we may never be able to. But the idea behind EOS was that if you introduce Ricardian contracts, you introduce a constitution, you introduce this concept of governance that's not even just delegated proof of stake between the block producers, but also some kind of extra organization that can kind of look into the situation and handle disputes about how the Constitution is defined. So you can read through these different articles, but the main one that I think relates to what we're describing here is dispute resolution. All disputes arising out of or in connection with this Constitution shall be finally settled under the rules of dispute resolution of the EOS Core Arbitration Forum by one or more arbitrators appointed in accordance with the said rules. So I think what that essentially says is, if there's a dispute on how the Constitution is to be applied, then ECAF and their rules that they've configured kind of is the law. And so most people probably haven't, but if you're not familiar with those rules of dispute resolution are, they're right here, a whole bunch of them. As you can see, they describe an introduction, the nature of the disputes, what the arbitration forum is, the arbitrators, the liability, how to file a suit, the notices, composition of the arbitral tribunal, and on it goes. The jurisdiction, external courts, language, all that kind of stuff. So, and this part actually concerns me a bit as far as transparency and confidentiality. There are things such as evidence for a ruling that are going to remain confidential and not be transparent. So I've been in the blockchain space for more than five and a half years, and I'm kind of used to everything on a blockchain being completely transparent. So if something isn't transparent on a blockchain, I'm immediately concerned. And so this is a concern to me, that the block producers will be asked to modify the blockchain, such as changing a private key or moving funds around or something like that, based on something that's not transparent. And so it's a little concerning, and yeah, so it's like, to understand the ramifications of all of this, I don't know that anyone really knows what's going to be involved here. And so in this particular case, we're dealing with what I've been told is Article 3, the rights. Members grant the right of contract and of private property to each other. Therefore, no property shall change hands except with the consent of the owner by a valid arbitrator's order or via community referendum. The Constitution creates no positive rights for or between any members. I think this is an important point that I'm still confused about, in terms of a positive right would mean, I initiate this right and you have to then do something for me. A negative right is, you can't do this thing against me, but I'm not going to obligate you to do anything. That's my understanding of it anyway, in a simple terms. And so my concern with this situation is that when we talk about rights and property, we're kind of creating a situation where we're saying, hey, block producers, you're supposed to go do this thing to protect the property rights of this individual who lost their key. And I just feel like that's a dangerous precedent. What's going to happen in the future when we stretch that to include other different situations where they feel, ECAF, again, according to their own rules, feels that some kind of form of property has been violated. And it sounds like the block producers have no say in the matter. They're supposed to just readily, completely accept whatever ruling comes from ECAF without seeing any evidence and modify the blockchain. And so, yeah, again, that's a little scary. We've never seen a blockchain that has that type of modification abilities built into the system. It's a blockchain supposed to be an immutable distributed ledger. It's something that only goes forward. You don't make, you can't make changes to. And so, yeah, my main point in this whole video is to get your perspective. Have you been following this story? What do you think about this? There's also a way to automate the process for, there's about, I think about 1,000 accounts that have lost their keys. And so those EOS accounts have not been touched at all because they lost their keys during the transition. They can provably demonstrate that with their Ethereum private key. They can sign a message to say, look, I am the owner of this account, but they just can't access their EOS key. So there's a way to do this without any kind of ECAF involvement, any subjective rulings, just purely based on demonstrating control of the account through cryptographic signatures. And that's being worked on as a way to handle people that really want to get access to their funds and their accounts. But I'm more interested in what your thoughts are about this concept of ECAF and this concept of a blockchain that can be modified by a group without having to show evidence to the rest of the community within the blockchain about their rulings and how those changes are made. So yeah, it's a big concern. There's a lot of conflict and discussion going on, and has been going on for almost a year now in the EOS community. And I was curious what you think. I'm also really curious what the eosDAC community thinks, because there are decisions like this in the future that as the custodians take over control of the DAC, we're going to have to get clarity on how they want the eosDAC block producer to vote on these type of approvals that are submitted to us. And so yeah, we have to figure that out. So definitely leave your thoughts here, and if you haven't already, please go ahead and go to members.eosDAC.io, register as an eosDAC member, and vote for custodians. We're just about I think we're about just over 6% of the token holders have voted so far, and we have to reach 15% in order to launch the DAC. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. Members.eosDAC.io, and you can come in here and look at the custodian voting here. Yeah, we're just over 7%, and we need to hit 15%. So this is a really, really exciting time for the DAC. We're going to launch the DAC if we can get that amount of voters coming in. So please, if you get a chance, go ahead and check out members.eosDAC.io and vote, and go ahead and leave in a comment or do a video response or something like that to give your view on ECAF and how it relates to the EOSIO blockchain and governed blockchains in general. What do you think the future holds, and what role does ECAF play, or maybe some other future form of arbitration system within a blockchain? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks so much. Take care.